What happens when the world gets turned on its head? We're forced to look inward, perhaps become fearful, sometimes lash out at others. While there are others in the world who don't give up hope because they believe in people. Join me, Kevin Tibbles, and Amy Goldberg for our new podcast, Believe in People, where we meet those who don't give up hope. Today we're going to spend some time with the remarkable Maurrie Sussman, one of the founders, dare I say, pioneers, behind the outdoor adventure group entitled Sisters on the Fly.
And Sisters on the Fly is exclusively for women and offers empowerment and sisterhood through outdoor adventures.
What better place to find out who you are and where you're going and what your limits are than in the great, limitless outdoors. Maurrie, it's my pleasure to welcome you to Believe in People.
Thank you. That is the best name. That's a good name.
Thank you very much. And I just want to go along the theme here. Sisters on the Fly is the name of your organization. Amy and I are going to ask you about it in a second. But first of all, tell me about the pure, sheer joy of being in the great outdoors under the big sky at a river with a rod in your hand. What is that feeling?
It's like a dream. It's when you can stand, my eyes will drift because I have to find myself there on the river. It's quiet except for the roar of the river. And so when you start casting in fly fishing is the magical part. You know, the line drifts and it makes circles and then it drops down into the water. And then the perfect thing is to have a fish right under there. So you're actually fishing to a fish. And then the fish comes up, grabs the hook, you pull it out, you kiss it, you put it back. It is heaven. I don't keep fish. It is the most beautiful, beautiful experience. And then sometimes to make it even more perfect, in Montana, because I live in Montana, as well as here in Arizona, but in Montana, where we fish, if it's on the Yellowstone or the Stillwater, then you can hear trains go by. And the trains give you that old-time feeling of being in the wilderness because there's no one else around. And the train going by and you go, oh my gosh. So that's what that's like.
That's amazing. So, Maurrie, it's almost meditative, isn't it?
It is. It is. Yeah.
And is that what draws you?
To fly fishing?
Yes.
You know, maybe that's it. Sometimes we're in a boat. Sometimes we're on the shore. The smell. The other thing that draws me is on the Yellowstone, we have a lot of eagles. And so you get to watch the eagles flying and, and catching. Oh, it's just awesome. Or the rainstorms or the whatever. So it's like a palette of paintings moving all the time. Something changes, It's just gorgeous.
So
that is part of the outdoors. Same thing with crafting or any of that other, you're just in awe.
Something changed within you when you started having these experiences along with your sister. Something changed within you enough to decide that you wanted to share it with other women?
Well, my son, Austin, excuse me, my son, Austin, is our outfitter. So he decided Aunt Becky, my sister's name is Becky, he would take us and teach us how to fly fish. So we started fly fishing on Madison, on the Madison River. 25 years ago. Yep, it was a long time. So we just absolutely loved it. I mean, it just was one of those things. We looked at each other and went, oh my gosh, this is the most perfect world there is. So that's what started it. We decided to invite friends.
And then take us on that journey, Moira. What happened next? And I understand that you're sister number one. So if you can throw that into the equation as well, which I understand.
Right. I do. So my sister and I started Sisters on the Fly. And since then, she's still sister number two, and she's still my partner, but she's no longer involved with the company. I mean, she is, but she's not. So it's mine now. It's my baby. We have we have 10,000, around 10,000 active members, and about 25. I wrote it down somewhere, but of course I didn't have it here. 25 women that had been here, had come and gone. Some passed away, some didn't like us, some, went on to something else, but it's a lot of women. And they're all my little sisters. And it's fun. And we have certain thoughts like what you do. We just, we're trying to, I think probably the most fun thing is the fact that I'm thinking, that's when I look up here. The really, really fun thing about Sisters on the Fly is that you wouldn't meet most of these people at all if you didn't come together like this with, just coming together. So we have an event and you meet people of every wake of life, every nationality, every thing from different parts of the country. And so it's really such a fun, just a really fun thing. So I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Do you learn things about them, or do you learn things about yourself? Obviously the answer is both. What's that like?
It's very exciting, but Kevin, that I went to a Catholic all-girls school and high school, and there you were forced, and because I'm from a military family, we moved a lot. So that was our deal. So every time we moved, I got to meet new people. And obviously, I'm not bashful. My sister's bashful. I'm not. So we had to meet these girls and get to know them, and it was never about me. I try make nothing about me. I try to make it about them. So you ask them questions, like, oh, where are you from? What do you do? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite sport? What do you like to do? And they start telling you because they love to talk about themselves. And that taught me how to be patient and kind and loving. And the second thing was it taught me how important all these individuals are, and they're all human beings and they're all alive, and they're they're just magnificent. So whether you would like them on a daily basis, that doesn't have anything to do with it. So did that answer your question?
It does, Maura. And so, in your experience, what have you noticed in the women that participate? Is there what kind of transition do you experience?
Well, a lot of them are. We have women that are married, women that are not married. They're single for whatever reason, and some of them are afraid. That was the biggest thing. Afraid to go somewhere and do something when they don't know what it is. So if we're going to go horseback riding, a lot of them don't know how to ride a horse. So they're afraid of horses. So that you watch, and the transition when you get them on the horse and you teach them to ride and to not be afraid is pretty exciting for them and for you. So it's just been an amazing journey. I keep saying I'm going to write a book, and I need to find a ghostwriter because I'd get lost in it and never finish a chapter.
Here I am.
I was just going to say that, Kevin. I'm just going to say that.
Moving right along, it almost sounds like you're telling us it's a therapeutic journey for a lot of these women.
Right. They become brave. And we all have vintage trailers. Well, mostly all of us have vintage trailers. And we go across the country, or we go on trips. And some of the events, we had Route 66, and we had, there's just events going on all the time, big events that you take your trailer and you go from place to place. And our hostess, I'm sorry, the hostess of the trip, does something. So one of the things I want to go on is the Nez Perce Trail. So that would be a long trip. And you'd start from Idaho, and then you would come across and you'd go up the river, and then you'd go through the Yellowstone Park, and then you go all the way up to Canada. And they're the ones that have the Appaloosa horses. So it is just, an amazing, to me, it's amazing because Native American people are they're the people that I just love. I just absolutely love them. I love their thoughts. I love how they do things. And so when you travel with them, or when you create something that involves them, it's such a neat thing, because we learn how frivolous we in the United States, how frivolous and how unimportant a lot of our things are. And so, yeah, I'm drifting off. So pull me back if I'm too far off.
Maurrie, so walk us through the experience. So a woman signs up on your website, is that, and then do they see events and activities, and what kind of activities, and how many people can participate, and do you have chapters? What does that look like for those that are interested?
We don't have chapters because I didn't want to separate them. I want all the girls to be able to be together whenever they can. If you have a chapter, it becomes a club, and I don't want that. So I nixed that one right away. And so what they do, we just have a bunch on. I signed up for about 4 of them. So I'm going to use welding class, because I have welding class at my house in Absorki. And all the girls learn to weld, not at my house, but up the street at Scott's welding place. So we have a week of learning how to weld. That is the coolest. So that's something we did learn, that it's a girls' thing, really. The boys weld to fix things. The girls weld to create. So I spent all last summer every day going to the dump and getting steel and metal out of the dump, even though you're not supposed to. But I, conned them into letting me do that. And then when a truck would drive up with stuff in the back, I'd say, put it in my truck. And so they would. So then everybody started welding. So this summer, it's in June in Absorki, and we can only have like 25 women. Well, when we posted it today, it closed yesterday, it closed in about 4 hours. But every year we have it, so a lot of them know it's coming up. And so it's a very exciting thing. So they bring their trailers, and they park in Scott's field. And then my sister and I and Tammy cook for them. So we get all the food and stuff so that they have that. They use my 2 cabins for showers. So, it's really camping. This is not hotel kind of stuff. So they use it for showers, and whatever they want, and then they go welding all day, and then they come home, and then we have dinner for them, and um, sometimes we have to put it in two different shifts, and so that's really exciting. But the problem we don't have enough. If we could have two or three of those events, then that would be good. But Scott has to work, so he can only give us a week. So that kind of ends that. So if some of the other girls want to put on a welding thing, then they can. But it is such a cool experience of learning. You're learning stuff that you wouldn't know. So now we all have hoods and we've got, all that kind of stuff. But we make all kinds of garbage. I don't have anything handy here that I made, but it's pretty wonderful.
Why no men?
The reason is because men will say, "Would you get me a beer, honey?" Or "What time is dinner?" Or whatever that is.
Thank you.
So we don't. Yes, you're welcome. But that's what that is. So, and then there gets to be the flirting part and that kind of stuff. So we just decided to talk with men, and we have that's just the way it is, and it makes it easier. It changes the dynamics when there's a man. Now we have some events where the girls bring their husbands. So.
And also, Maurrie, you have humanitarian interests. Can you tell us about that?
Well, we do. We have quilts. We make quilts. I made quilts for years. And then we give them out to girls who had breast cancer. That's how it started. And then we send a little letter with them saying, when you're finished with it, return them. Because those quilts cost around $400 to make. And so we don't want to just lose them in the shuffle. So we would ask them to please send them back. Well, that doesn't always happen. But those that did send them back, then we sent them back out. And then I ended up with a bunch of different women in Sisters on the Fly who make them too. So I don't have to make them anymore. So now I'm on to leather work. So I'm making a shop here in Phoenix and I have one up in Montana where we can do leather works and along with our metal works. So we have all of these things that we do. We're just a creative bunch of women, and then we give our things away. So that was one of the things. And then we had I don't probably anyway. In my mother's name, we had a thing where we gathered money and things, and then gave it to people who needed it. But that didn't work out real well, so we closed that down. So we don't do that. But now we help the girls. I mean, we all help. If somebody needs something, we do it. So, and we have a group that started in Texas, and they rebuild and help the hurricane people. So I was just down there for our 5th year, and they go in when the hurricanes hit or the floods hit or whatever, anywhere in the United States, then they get called to come and help rebuild, clean up the messes, and do whatever. So that's a really big deal, and it's doing really well.
That's great. I got to ask you, because you know that I'm a TV guy or a former TV guy. Because I want you to tell us a little bit more about the trailers. And of course, when we on this side think about women in trailers, we obviously and automatically think of Frances McDormand in Nomadland. Have you seen that movie?
I didn't, but I did. Yeah. Yes.
Well, so, I mean, anyway, I'm just trying to let you know that I'm tuned into the world. But these trailers, I mean, we're not talking about trailers. I mean, these are vintage trailers, correct?
Correct.
So,
Well,
what,
some
they're
of
like
them are
souped
getting,
up?
yes. So I have a 77 Argosy, which is made by Airstream. So it has orange counters and I mean, so it's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous trailer. But you're constantly redoing something, fixing that, fixing this. But so that I can travel with it, I have a F-350 truck, so I can pull anything and go anywhere, but you can't always pull a trailer anywhere. And we have, I have also a 58 and I have a 43. And if we had gone on a tour, I could show you the 43s outside, but we could go on a tour, but that would take some time.
You mean 1943?
1943. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Wow.
From the Second World War years. It's unbelievable.
You know what that was used for? It's turquoise and it's beautiful because we redid it. A friend who helped me do stuff, we rebuilt the whole. Well, didn't rebuild it. We left everything natural, but it is a spectacular trailer. But I can't take it very many places because it only has two wheels, so it has one axle. So you can't very well do that. So, but it was a trailer that was, I got it from a Hispanic man who worked on a ranch, and that was his house. And so anyway, I got it back. But he had made a fire and he had burnt the roof off. So the roof was gone. And so now it's tin and we just fixed the whole thing up. But they used them, they didn't have bathrooms in them. And they used them in California when the people came up from Mexico to work in the fields. They used these trailers and they had bathrooms and kitchens, and I mean there's a kitchen in it and you could cook in it, but they had a camp. So the camp was by whoever the ranch owner was, so that the people could cook, go to the bathroom, do their laundry outside, not in their trailer. So it has a bedroom and it has it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
So actually, Maurrie, what we'll do is we will include those pictures so those who watch the podcast video of this will be able to see those. Yeah, so if you could send them to us, that would be fantastic.
Oh, I'll do that. Yeah, because they are gorgeous. And
Great,
that's
just
a
so we
lot
can
of
get
work.
a visual.
Yeah. So to go on with it, so we have a lot of new trailers now, and a lot of the girls are doing vans.
You ever watch Yellowstone, Maurrie?
Love it. Absolutely love it. That's where I came from.
Well, is it like that?
Yes.
It was?
Yes.
Is that a good thing?
Well, for us in Montana, yeah. If you don't like somebody, you could just go shoot them. Mickey, my husband, who just it's not quite that easy, but it's pretty rugged. I mean, it's pretty basic.
Yeah.
I live in a community of miners, so they're pretty basic as well. Yes, it is not your city.
Well, I was always curious about that. Maurrie, Kevin and I, at the end of each podcast, we ask our guests this question. Why do you believe in people?
I love people. I absolutely love them. I love to hug them. I they're just a magnificent. When I get mad at them, I get upset at myself for getting mad at them. But I just think they're the most. I think God created the most beautiful thing with people. I don't know what else to tell you.
I'm curious, just before we let you go, You could have named your organization anything you wanted. Could have called it Women on the Fly, Girls on the Fly, Females on the Fly, the other gender on the fly. You decided to call it Sisters on the Fly. Why use the word sisters? Is it about your own sister, or is it more than
out to be that? Yeah. So Becky and I are sisters, and so we did a lot of stuff together with our family. So we did tons of camping, and my mom taught us how to fish and that kind of stuff. So we were sisters on the fly, being that we were starting out to fly fish and to take women fly fishing. Well, that ended up then we went from that to sisters. We're all sisters. We are all sisters, and we're going to treat each other like sisters. And so that's how it stuck, and we didn't want to change it.
Maurrie, what a thrill to talk to you again.
It's
and
great.
Thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you,
good
Maurrie.
fishing, I guess they say. We'll talk to you. We'll get some more fish tales out of you in the future, I hope.
Good.
And Kevin, I can join Maurrie. You can't. I'm just saying.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. See, but you could come and visit, Kevin. everyone would love to see you. So.
Thanks so much for being with us. Bye-bye.
Thank you for allowing me. Bye.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much for introducing me to Maurrie. What an inspiration. And I love that she's created a really strong community of sisters. And that's what the world needs now. So she's stepping into her own, which is amazing. So her energy is unbelievable.
Yes.
So
her energy is unbelievable.
That's amazing.
She's created this sort of nomadic class of women going to places you've never heard of in their trailers and fishing and experiencing life. And I'm a total admirer. She is full of life, and I'm a little tad jealous about the fact that they're doing it. But I go fishing too. I can do that. But if you want to find out more things about more wild people like Maurrie and Sisters on the Fly, which you can find on your own on the internet, why don't you subscribe to us? Because we go out and find them for you and talk to them every week. So subscribe to Believe in People. Right, Aim?
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.